Besides science, where and how and why do we look for additional answers? Once every wild surfaces a question we can wrap our head around, can't answer using the areas of knowledge such as science, which should provide us with factual and concrete evidence-based answers. These questions make us look out for additional answers. Where? It varies between individuals, but for now we'll be focusing on the areas of knowledge of religion and ethics. Let's get straight into a CNN situation it covered in 2014. The 4-year-old girl Juliana Snow, who suffered from a severe case of an incurable illness called Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, was given the choice by her parents to either stay at home next time she got dangerously sick and die or go back to the hospital. Her doctors believed that if they could save her when or if she got pneumonia, she would likely end up sedated on a respirator with very little quality of life. The medical facts weren't up for debate, given that they were proved by science, but the debate was about her parents giving her the choice to choose the course of her life, or death. If we analyze the situation based on the area of knowledge, ethics, we can see how perspectives might oppose depending on one's moral principles. Reason may be used as a way of knowing in order to fully comprehend and internalize the situation and draw conclusions based on it. For example, a deontologist might argue that a 4-year-old does not have the capacity to make such a life-altering decision. A consequentialist might say that it was the right thing to do because Juliana chose to die and would therefore evade the possibly fatal repercussions of going back to the hospital, and in the end, what matters is the right choice was taken, not who made it. From a virtue ethics perspective, one could argue that giving Juliana the choice was the right thing to do, since it was she who was suffering and no one could better understand what she was going through and how she felt than herself. Which brings me to my next point. As much as we can all give our input and opinion on the situation, whether we believe it's ethical or not, we don't have a key form of knowledge as did Juliana and her parents. Personal knowledge. We may know the facts of the situation, but we don't know what Juliana's suffering was like, as much as we might put ourselves in the hypothetical situation where a child had Juliana's disease and we had to make the same choice as her parents. We can't really comprehend what it's like to watch your child in so much pain. Even if we did have a child suffering from the same disease, our shared knowledge wouldn't be enough to fully understand Juliana's specific situation. One can either support Juliana's parents' course of action or be against it. It all depends on what one considers to be right and wrong, in one ways of reasoning. If we focus on religion as an area of knowledge, faith as a way of knowing, the debate continues because of the different beliefs people have and the discussion of whether faith should be considered a way of knowing. Juliana's parents convinced her that heaven exists. They instilled their beliefs in Juliana, who didn't have the capability yet, because of her age, to really think about her stand in religion and decide for herself. In this case, Juliana's parents had faith in God, who believed that Juliana would be in a better place once she died than she would be if she chose to stay in the hospital. They've ingrained in Juliana such beliefs, which could be argued is both ethical or not, depending on the way one chooses to look at the situation. For example, we can come up with the two contrasting views of religion experts on the situation. Prothorus, who believes humans encounter different problems which have different solutions and they pick their religion based on these, would probably say that Juliana's parents believe in God and heaven because they must believe there's a better life option for their child, and Juliana should therefore believe in heaven too. On the other hand, Harris could argue that Juliana's parents should not paint such unrealistic pictures of heaven to Juliana, because there is no such place, since there is no concrete proof and science will eventually disprove its existence. While Juliana may have faith in God because of that's how she was raised, it's mostly faith in her parents, which she bases her decision on. She completely trusts her parents who are assuring her of the existence of heaven. Moving on to the next real-life situation, Barbara Harris founded a North Carolina-based charity called Project Prevention, which offers drug-addicted women $300 if they will go under sterilization or under long-term birth control in order to prevent children being born to drug-addicted mothers or being drug addicts themselves. The question would whether the charity is ethical or not. In order to answer that, we can go back to the area of knowledge of ethics. Different views can exist of this charity. It all depends on an individual's moral principles. For example, a consequentialist would prefer to use reason to deduct that charity is ethically correct in exchanging cash for prevention of babies born in drug-addicted situations. They wouldn't pay much attention to the fact that women are in fragile situations where they are not in their full capability of making good decisions, and the women targeted are mostly from poor neighborhoods, so it's likely they need the money. Someone with virtue ethics perspective would probably focus on the means to the goal and wouldn't agree with the ways of the charity. On the other hand, the deontologist might focus on the laws being broken, such as bribing and coercion, since women are being manipulated to give up having babies, making the charity unethical. In conclusion, when we need to look for additional answers, science can't answer, we tend to lean on ethics and religion, two areas of knowledge which aren't evidence-based. Secondly, that we can explore these two areas by using ways of knowing such as faith and reason. And finally, we must learn to accept that people will have different beliefs and morals as we do, and that they are justified in their head just like we are in ours.